Thank you so much, Sophie, for joining me today. I'm very excited to have this conversation. We talked a lot. We've been knowing each other for ages now.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, we met on the French Riviera where you were working over there. And now you're here in Dubai.
Yes, who would have known?
Definitely. So you are now in charge of part of the events for the Atlantis group.
Correct, yes.
I'm sure you know Atlantis, especially Atlantis Royal.
Yes.
This is where you got this crazy event with Beyoncé.
Correct, yes.
So it's definitely, we're going to talk quickly about it, the pressure under that kind of events, but it's definitely exciting. I wanted to ask you something. It's just like, I've been living in Dubai for more than 6 years now. Mm-hmm. I know how it works. And it's definitely the place to be for expats, but also for people traveling from all over the world. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, when you work in hospitality, in luxury hospitality, how do you deal with people coming from all over the world and definitely having different expectations when it's about the experience, when it's about the service, even events? Correct, like you have to manage different backgrounds and like just to not to have like the one fits all concept.
So I mean, like with our client, you have to be a chameleon. So you have really like to adapt yourself, like your personality according to the client, to its culture and to their expectations. So I always try to find our common point. I think you can find a common point with anyone, no matter the age of the person, no matter like the culture of the person, you'll always find like a common point. So I always try to do like some research before, to kind of find like a common point, and then, according to the client, like be different, adapt my personality, and and you get to know the client, the guest, and
I love this idea. This is so true. Like especially when you have a different culture than the client, just to try to find something in common.
Correct.
I know personally, I have my dog, and most of my clients, when they come, they know my dog sometimes more than me, and usually they do have a dog as well. So it's so smart. Then that is so true. You always find something in common.
Completely. You do some research. You try to find, them like on social media and like find what they like, and exactly, you have to be, right? And then like once they arrive, for example, if you know that they like, I don't know, macarons from La Durée, like why not, like just prepare like a small box from like, macaron La Durée to welcome them. And then within like the first few minutes, you can already, define who's the guest in front of you.
So funny. This is my example I use all the time.
Okay. La Durée macaron?
Yes.
Or so French.
It's so French, so cliche, definitely. Yes. But that is so true. Then this extra step
100%.
That you can definitely do instead of just welcoming them, one fits all,
exactly.
It's just to find something different for each client. I love this idea. It's really funny, actually, definitely. And so the thing is, the very first time you had to deal with someone from a different culture, and you were like, okay, I have no idea how to do, how did you react to that? To feel, especially in the Middle East, it's a different culture than us in the Western world. And the very first time we have to deal with it, it's always like, okay, so let's say this is their normality, and to open your mind so much. I think it's, one of the most difficult and exciting things to do at the same time.
No, you have to be very open-minded. You have to meet the guest without any first back thought, let's say, and just let the guest talk. And then as I said, within the first few minutes, you can already picture the guest. And then from there, you take, the direction and you adapt yourself. So being a chameleon is super, super important, I think.
I think the very first time I got this sensation is as a wedding photographer. I had weddings in the Middle East. And as a woman, when I saw the groom entering the ballroom and you got 1,000 ladies cover their heads. Yeah. And as a woman, I was
of course,
you have one man with this power of covering all these women, and I was okay. And then you get used to it, and you just accept the fact that it's a different culture.
Completely.
It helps actually 100%. A lot. I really appreciate that now. Then I can be empathic with the bride. Than before, I was okay, it's just nothing compared to our weddings with a lot of emotion, very demonstrative.
Agree.
They are very different, but it actually helps you to understand that your way of seeing the world is not the normal way. It's just one of the way to see the world. And I actually really like that. It could be actually the same thing for your teams.
Yeah.
In Dubai, more than anywhere else in the world, it's 90% of expats. So it's insane.
Correct,
so basically everybody comes from a different background.
Completely.
So I guess you have to deal with people with different vision of what's luxury and how to welcome guests and how to deal with people.
Completely.
I mean, it would be my nightmare, honestly, to have to deal with these different visions of luxury. So how do you do that?
Especially Atlantis for like over like 7,000 employees from like over 100 different nationalities. So yeah, welcome to Dubai, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And as you said, like we all have a different perception of what luxury is, and many, those employees never worked like in luxury before. So it's like, a 5-star hotel, like in France, it will not be the same 5-star hotel. Thailand, for example, let's say, is very different. So you need, I think, to set standards. Like the team is always like, willing to learn. So you have like to teach them and always be consistent with the standard and set them up from the start.
Do you have like some anecdotes, or do you have like some moments in mind where you were like, oh my God, this is so complicated, like our level of demandingness, je sais pas si je peux dire ça, demandingness? No. Like the level of expectations is so different. Like definitely if you train them, you can do whatever you want, like they cannot fit with your level of expectations.
You have to be as well more flexible. Like, that, like my background is boutique hotel, top luxury from like London and south of France. So obviously here is very different. So as well, I had to readapt myself.
Did you have anyone started from scratch and then you realized that this person had a lot of potential, and then you help this person, and then he grew up so much, and now you are like proud of what you did?
Yes, completely. Especially like in my team at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, really? So
I have one of my colleagues. She's incredible. So her background is not at all luxury, not at all hospitality, and she has a passion for it. She is very, very involved, and she's so determined. And today, I fully trust her. She understands what are the codes of luxury. So yeah, I think if you have the passion, if you're determined, you can get anywhere.
This is actually very interesting. But what you said before is that basically you adapt yourself to them instead of trying to push them in the same direction than you. Like you have standards, but at the end of the day, you try to adapt maybe the way you teach them or the way you train them to their own background, instead of like fighting.
Exactly, you have to. So you have really to readapt yourself, and even when you teach to someone, a person might learn better verbally. Another person might learn better, with visuals, let's say. Another person might learn better with words.
True.
So you really to kind of adapt your management, according to the person. So
That reminds me something that I lived when I was at school.
Yeah.
And the teacher said, in someone in front of you doesn't understand what you are trying to teach them, try not to think they are stupid, but just maybe switch and change the way you are talking, which is so true. Sometimes it's just like, this person is not stupid. It's just switch the words you use, just switch the way you communicate, and it does change everything.
Exactly, yeah.
Definitely. And I think Dubai is such a good example about that.
Exactly. With people coming from all, different backgrounds. So it's very, very important.
Definitely. How many nationalities or backgrounds did you have to deal with approximately?
Well, I would say in my career, probably around 20 at least. Yeah.
So you do speak French, you do speak English. Do you speak any other language?
I speak a bit of Arabic as well. So my background is Middle East, which helps a lot. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Definitely. Yes. I tried actually to learn Arabic and I was like, nope. Yeah. This is not going to happen, definitely. But it's so complicated. And the thing is, here everybody speaks English.
Speaks English, exactly.
Oh, it actually reminds me something very interesting is we are French.
Yes.
And I keep having messages from French people saying, you should do it in French because we need that in France. And I keep replying, guys, if you want to go in the luxury industry, you have to speak English.
Yes.
Even like me, like a broken English with a very strong accent, but you have to learn English. So to do it in French is actually going to be counterproductive. Yeah. Like you have to learn it. It's just, and in Dubai, something interesting is the very first time I came here, I struggled so much with all the accents.
I know, right? Yeah. I feel like Dubai has its own English as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I always say this is the best place to be if you are shy, because nobody cares.
Completely agree. Completely agree.
But it's also the worst place to go if you want to improve your English.
100%, yeah.
At the end of the day, you go there, open door,
Exactly.
just like back to basics.
That's so true.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we understand each other, and
Exactly,
that's the only
we
thing
do.
that matters.
I think like Dubai is an amazing place for that as well. We're all coming from different backgrounds, and we'll all just get along and live together.
It works. It's very interesting place, definitely. Yeah. But it's also an adventure.
It is, yes.
Yeah. We were talking about this open-minding thing, and I think personally it helped me so much to, as we said, to understand that our culture is not the best one. It's just one of the culture.
100%, yeah.
Definitely. We were talking about these Beyoncé events. Like, I mean, the entire world saw it. And I was thinking, I started behind the scenes when I was younger. I was like, these people behind the thing nobody knows. And we are still these people behind the curtain, We just want people to enjoy their moments.
Exactly.
And them not to see us, we have to stay under the shadow. So when this event happened, I was maybe one of the only one thinking, oh my God, these people under the shadow, the pressure for them is going to be insane, when you're the entire world watching events like this one. So how do you deal with the pressure when the entire world is watching? How do you deal with moments when these people are going to share this, it's going to be shared worldwide? Like, how can you manage your teams as well when you are like, so, okay, guy, it's today, just give me everything.
I think you really need to take, of course, the pressure, no show any stress in front of everyone. If you show to your team that you're stressed, it's gonna get more stress. Yeah. So you should really take on the pressure and kind of just put a mask. So yes, it's an environment that is very, very stressful. You work constantly under the pressure, but I'm one of the person who works well under pressure. I need the pressure to achieve my goals. If I don't have the pressure, my events would not be as successful as they are.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just good to know, you like pressure, but that is so true. I'm a bit the same.
Yeah, right?
Not too much, but a bit the same, definitely.
I think many people are like this, especially in the events industry, you need. But throughout the planning and during the day of the event, you just have to take it and that's the best feeling once the event is over, once everyone is just happy, and
the shower just after this event is priceless.
Exactly, but that's the best feeling, So
definitely.
Yes, it's always as well important to just take a step back as well when you're a lot under pressure, to just remember that it's
nobody is gonna die.
Exactly, no one. We're not here to save life, right?
Definitely.
We're just here to have very successful events. So it's
most of the time, nobody's going to notice.
Exactly, I always say
and this is something, as entrepreneurs, I think it's so important to keep in mind that what's going to drive you crazy actually is so small.
Exactly,
it's
because
nothing for the client.
What's going on, what are the details, but the guests won't notice any of that.
Yeah, we definitely overreact most of the time, especially when you are in the luxury industry, that you want everything to be perfect. And if anything goes wrong, they're going to notice, but actually that is not true.
That's so
if
true.
The experience is okay, they will forgive you so many things.
Exactly.
And I was on a conference in Paris last time, and I actually was talking about what I call the poker face, which is when we have everything is always okay. It's just, even if it's a mess, it's okay.
Exactly.
In front of the client, everything is always okay.
Exactly.
Even if it's a nightmare behind the curtain. But
you just take it on and
Exactly. And this is the way you deal with panic and stress as well.
Exactly.
It's completely okay.
Exactly.
We manage the situation. Absolutely not. Yeah.
But no one needs to know that.
Exactly. I think it makes a huge difference. And as we said, what's going to drive you crazy is actually most of the time nothing.
Exactly.
So
always. And never of course, show to the client that you're under stress or always show that everything is under control.
Sometimes I think that these people behind the curtain not having to face the client, they have the best place.
I know, right? Look at them.
Yeah, definitely. Not having to say
yes, exactly. Everything's fine.
Yeah, this is what I keep saying to my team. You see this smile? This is my commercial smile. Yes. How is the light, Maddy? Pink. It's very pink. So I think we don't talk enough about the stress when you work with luxury, wealthy clients in the luxury industry. because it looks easy, you know, when you enter somewhere,
Exactly.
people are just like smiling, like very like doing everything for you to relax. And so you as a client, you don't see anything, but
Correct.
the pressure is much bigger
It
than
is.
in another
It
industry.
is.
Actually, you talked before about something very interesting, that the fact that many members of your team don't come from a luxury background.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, as you said, in France, you need like to come from school or to come from
Correct,
something
yes.
very specific. They don't hire you if you don't have a specific background. So it's definitely, let's say, more demanding. But in Dubai, you have this mindset of, if you are motivated, you can like definitely kill the game.
Completely.
But how do you deal with that? What do you think about that, like deeply? Do you think that people have to have, in a way, like a culture or something linked to the luxury industry of they should try maybe to live this in their everyday life? Or what do you think about that?
I think if the person is passionate and if the person is willing to learn and has a personality for it, anything is possible. I don't think luxury is for everyone, though. You know, I think you have really like to have the personality that goes with it. You have to be, you know, detail orientated. You have to be patient. You need to, you know, as well present yourself well. So all those little, you know, personality traits are very important. But if you have the patience, if you're like determined, anything is possible. And here in Dubai, you know, I think we are lucky because you have a lot of opportunities and people give you the opportunities.
That's great. This is very interesting. They give you opportunities because potentially they had some opportunities for them before.
Exactly.
And you said something very interesting. You said not everybody is made for the luxury industry.
Yes.
And this is a question I keep having. Like, do you think it's for everybody? How do I know I'm going to be comfortable? Because we are used to compare our vision of luxury with our own life.
Yes.
And what, like, sometimes you hear like, oh, it's okay, you know, they're not gonna. Yes, they do. So you have to understand that they don't have the same vision than you. They don't have the same level of expectation than you. They are used to that every single day. So sometimes it's just like, oh, it's okay, they won't notice. And sometimes they do.
Yes.
So it's like, as we said before, being even more demanding. So the level is going to be just a bit lower and it's still going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay. I keep saying that, but it's completely okay not to go in the luxury market because some people are just not comfortable with it.
Exactly.
And middle class is completely okay. Low cost market is completely okay. Like, as long as you are aligned with a market that you are comfortable with, it's just the only thing that matters. In which kind of details would you think we have a difference between like a middle market, let's say, and the luxury market? Like a few specific things?
Yeah, I would say, for example, like, the very high market is all about exclusivity, all about, you know, personalized thing, really attention to details. It's all about like do small things that are gonna make the difference. You know, anticipating the needs of the clients you have. You know, being like more proactive. Yeah.
And personalization.
Completely. Personalization is so important. It makes
Do you have some examples? Like, we were talking about the La Durée macaron. I love it. Do you have some examples like that we can pick from you to personalize the service or the product for our clients?
Yeah, for example, you know, if like if a client stays in the hotel and I know, for example, their dog is not going to be there, like, you know, I would print like a picture of their dog, put it in their room, embroider like their initial, you know, on the pillowcase, for example, or on the bathrobe, like all about, you know, small things like this that they will notice and that they can take home with them. I think it's important.
Do they notice, or do they are so used to it that they don't even, you know?
No, I think it always makes a difference.
Yeah. You always have a feedback about that.
Yeah,
so this is another question, is how to surprise people who already have everything.
I know, that's difficult.
Yeah, and this is all about personalization. This is something I keep saying, but just when you cannot provide something they could buy by themselves, you have to go somewhere they cannot or they won't go by themselves. So personalization is definitely the key.
So true. You have always to innovate.
I remember once I still work with them, but I was working with a 5-star hotel in south of France, and they contacted me because I had a session with these people, and they said, like, do you think it's possible to send the pictures so we can print them and put in a beautiful frame to put in their room? So this is something
It's
cute.
nice.
Yeah,
Exactly.
super cute. And this is definitely what happens when you are aligned
Yeah.
with suppliers as
Yeah.
well, you know?
Yeah.
Like why it's interesting to be surrounded by people with the same mindset as well.
Completely.
Just, for example, to push each other higher, you know, like I really loved that. It was cute. I was like,
Completely. Yes.
we are made to work together.
Yes.
Definitely. It's something actually I would love to talk about too, is the fact that being surrounded by people, suppliers, providers,
Yes.
vendors with the same level of
Completely.
the same vision of luxury. And God knows it's complicated in Dubai.
I know, because you have so many different like suppliers. Competition is massive for them, but yeah, it's definitely very, very important because you can just trust them and just kind of on the day you don't have
Surprise.
to yeah, exactly, don't have any surprise, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so important.
I think in Dubai more than anywhere else, once you find someone good, you can trust, you keep them.
Completely.
You don't like try a new one,
Yeah.
just to try a new one. Surprise.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know if you agree, but I feel like it's in Dubai, but it's basically everywhere else that we have two kinds of suppliers.
Mm-hmm.
You have people very expensive, but very good. And you have people fighting about the price
Yes.
with competition. And always coming to you saying like, I can do a discount, before even you ask for anything, I can
Yes.
do a discount. And when it's about your client at the end of the day, sometimes it's better to spend money
Yeah.
and to have quality. But I know in Dubai,
Completely.
I've seen a lot that they want a very good quality, but they don't want to pay.
Yes.
So it's a very strange market. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know how to deal with that. Like these people expect to have a Ferrari, but they have the budget of a Twingo.
I agree. I think it's part of the culture in Dubai, right?
It's part of the multicultural
Completely,
concept.
yes,
Yeah. This is like how to deal with this huge difference of pricing and like you have people okay to be paid nothing and doing their best and working like crazy, and you have another kind of people being like there is no way, and very very expensive, and it's just like I feel you don't have that many people in the middle market. We were talking about that actually with someone I interviewed lately, and we were talking about the fact that the middle class is going to disappear. Do you have a lot of people coming from Dubai itself or traveling from all over the world?
We do, yes. A lot of people want to do staycation, like we have so many different outlets. So, there are like the resorts themselves. Yeah, you can just stay in the resorts for like 3 days and you won't get bored. You have so many different restaurants, beach clubs. You have like as well water parks, and then you have, so many things, shopping.
So I think we are used to work a lot, definitely, and all the entrepreneurs, they know what it is, especially when it's your baby. But the thing is how to deal with the mental health, how to divide, like we said here, something very specific is you have to be available all the time.
Yes.
There is no evening, there is no day
Correct.
off, there is no weekends. It's all the time. So it looks a bit like an entrepreneur life,
Yes.
actually. So how do you do, and what kind of advices could you give us to just find a way to not to go crazy and not to die
Of
when you'll be
course.
45?
Yes, as you said, like here in Dubai, people expect you to answer 24 hours, 7 days a week. So I think it's important to set boundaries.
How do you do that? Do you do that?
I try to do that, of course, like, like having like a me time, like, when I just don't look at my work phone, in the evening, for example, or like during the weekend, trying to just turn off my phone, my work phone, I'm like, if anything is urgent, of course, you can always reach me on my personal phone, or yes, do not like as well, talk about work all the time, at home, or like with like, your friends, try to find different subjects. So no, I think it's important, yeah.
So basically, having a personal phone and a professional phone.
Yes, it's so important.
I mean, it looks obvious, but actually I haven't that before. I just
Yeah.
did it maybe a few months ago
Really?
because I went crazy.
Yeah, of
I was
course.
like, even if I was on holiday, but beep, beep,
Exactly.
beep, beep, beep. Even if you have an
It's not
amazing team
healthy.
and assistants, it never stops. So having a professional phone, trying to not to
Yes.
work, to talk about business at home.
Exactly.
Definitely. And maybe
Exactly.
having friends from a different background.
As well, exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean, it's easy to stay
Completely.
in a bubble with all your entrepreneur or
Exactly.
people coming from the same industry. I definitely know that. But at the same time, when you are an entrepreneur, it's very good to be surrounded by people even better or more advanced than you.
Of course.
Just to push yourself.
Exactly. And to elevate you. Yeah.
Definitely. I think this is something we underestimate a lot. I always say like you are the addition of the 5 people you are surrounded by.
Yeah.
And I think this is so true.
Yes.
And for entrepreneurs, like I've been an entrepreneur for 13 years now.
Wow.
I can tell you that sometimes it's hard, but you have to say bye-bye to some friends.
Oh, you do.
It's just because, especially in France, people love complaining.
Oh, yes. We do.
Yeah, and as an entrepreneur, this is definitely something that can just drain all your energy and just push you down. So it's so important to say like, okay, like you're not going to face this person saying like, it was nice to know you, bye-bye, but it's going to be naturally done. So
exactly.
Anyway, definitely. So how did you manage to have friends here?
Oh.
When you arrive in a new place and you don't know anyone, I think this is something we all struggle with.
Right, especially in Dubai, but you always like have a friend of a friend who's in Dubai, kind of. This is how you make connection as well, like at work, right? I mean, luckily we are meeting so many people every day, and you create a relation. Yeah.
When you work in the luxury industry, do you think you can be friends with your clients?
Yes, 100%. Yes.
Like real friends?
Yes.
Like they don't expect anything from you, or like you just do the job and then once it's done, you stay in touch with them?
Yes, many times, especially with like weddings, brides, for example, you kind of do because you create a relationship, you work on a project with someone over like months, sometimes years. So you create like this relationship and, once the project is here and over, like, you want still to keep in touch because like you created something, yeah.
And are you able, when you have this kind of friend, not to talk about business when they are there as a friend?
Yes, completely. Even like, when I meet with them, like, you need to create a relationship. So you don't always talk about business. You need to talk about like personal things to create.
This is something you can only do when you have time.
Yes, of course.
And time, you have it because you don't need quantity.
True.
So this is just, everything is linked, definitely. You can have that kind of relationship. I have a very different vision, actually, about that. Yeah. It's just, for me, once the job is done, I'll be happy if they send me a message saying, like, what's up or whatever. But it's just, I'm always paranoid about the fact that if, for example, we start drinking wine together or something, suddenly I say something I'm going to regret, Not about them, but about my industry or about anything. And I don't want them to... I don't want to break this bubble, I want them to stay in this bubble. And I always keep like a kind of a distance, but it's just a personal choice.
Yes,
but,
it depends after, of course, of the
you
industry.
definitely spend more time than me with them. But always feel like I don't want them to know the backside and the world behind the curtain, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's just very interesting. Anything else you would like to share with me? Like something, if you had one piece of advice for entrepreneurs and people working in the luxury industry or wanting to work in the luxury industry?
I would just say like, anything is possible, but just ensure that you have the right personality for it because it's a very, very demanding environment and a lot of pressure. So you really need, to be kind of strong and wanted it.
I remember when I moved to Monaco, I joined a company, a photography company. Okay. And they hired me as well because I was in this industry and they wanted to improve their branding and everything around. And they basically thought that you just need to add a crazy price on the product and it's going to be okay. And I was like, this is not how it works, I mean, people are okay to pay more, but for more,
Exactly.
It's just, they are not stupid. It's not because they have money, then they are like, It's, you have to deliver something different, definitely. And we tend to forget that. So
completely.
It's all about mainly the expense. Do you agree? I mean, definitely, I'm sure you do agree, because at the end of the day, you do sell a night, okay? You do rent a bed, okay? So what makes the difference? What's, of course, the product, because the bed is very comfortable and the view is insane, But biggest difference is the experience.
Oh, completely.
And I definitely think, especially when you come from a middle market or even low market, that you don't realize how important it is. And I've met so many entrepreneurs saying like, oh, yeah, guys, with your experience thing, just like you don't realize how important it is.
True. It makes a difference. Experience, and like for us, it's a service, right? I mean, luxury, it's of course a product, as you say, but like the service as well.
and the experience. And you were talking about the personalization and the
Completely.
surprise,
Super
and it's just
important.
a part of the adventure, definitely.
Exactly.
And did you have some people sometimes, how to say, having a specific idea of what they're gonna live, coming to your hotel and being like disappointing by something? Like, I'm not talking about the Atlantis, I'm talking in general in your career with the feedback you have now. Some moments you were like, I could have done better, or
No.
yeah.
No. It's always tough.
Did you have the experience before that you were like, I could have done that? You know, I could have been even further, you know, I could have done something, and you learned actually from it?
Yeah, yes, maybe sometimes, yeah, you know, when you find out like about, I don't know, a birthday, you know, but it's too late already. Like the birthday was like 2 days ago, you know, but you didn't know about it. So, you know, you're like, oh, maybe I could have like organized a cake or like organize a small gift for the client.
Oh God, I agree. I agree so much about that. And I think this is why, as entrepreneurs, we can or hire someone or just find a freelancer to like be the brain, you know, behind all these things. And I have an assistant, she's like everything for me. She's amazing, like from the best person on earth. She's incredible. And she's my brain, definitely. I can focus on what I have to do, you know, like being creative, creating content, etc. And she's dealing with all the shit I don't want to do. Like all these things she puts reminder everywhere, and she's definitely my brain.
Yeah.
And we have to accept as well that we can be good when we are in love with certain things. And I hate, for example, all the administration thing. And she loved that.
Fair enough.
So perfect. So sometimes being surrounded with people that can balance your weaknesses.
Completely.
It's just, this is how you manage with your team as well.
Completely.
Yeah.
This is exactly how I manage. So here in Dubai, there's a lot of paperwork. As you said, like also admin, you know, between like the permits, the licenses, all of that.
Yeah.
And for me, it's very new because my background is like European. So, you know, and I have like an amazing like team member who is so good. She's so organized and she knows exactly what we need to do. So I'm just, you know, kind of like dealing with the client and planning their events, and she will like help me with all the admin and all those things.
So just to accept, I think as an entrepreneur, it's so complicated and so scaring actually, to say like, I'm going to give a part of my baby to someone else, you know? And especially at the beginning, we want to do everything, and we have to do everything because you don't have the budget potentially to hire someone. But I think it's actually very smart, even it's easily in the process, to hire or to work with freelancers. Actually, freelancers are just, everything today. But so you are able to focus on your expertise.
Completely. Definitely. And the important thing. So 100%.
That's great. Thank you so much, Sophie.
Thank you.
It was so lovely talking with you
so
after
nice
all these years.
Yes, I know, right?
To see each other in Dubai is just so funny. It definitely was. Thank you so much for all your tips. I know you guys appreciate it so much. Of course, if you have any content, any question or anything, just put in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, talk about it. And we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.